You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Welcome in and welcome all. We are back. It's the Insight NFL Podcast. I'm your host, Mullin, joined by Secko, and we'll be going through our Week 4 review. A lot of the games have concluded for Week 4. We've got 2 more to go. Kicking off tomorrow, I believe it's Miami and the Jets to start things off, followed by Cincinnati and Denver. So, a couple of gross games. Hopefully we get some nice production out of it. But Secko, Week 4 is nearly in the history books. Whereas we've got a whole lot of injuries to cover, which is something I'm not looking to do. But how are you holding up after Monday morning today?
Yeah, good, mate. Pretty much 4 weeks. It does go quick. Every year we sort of get shocked about how fast the season goes through. But almost the first month done. Too many injuries. But again, that happens every year as well. So it sucks we have to sort of go through that bit. But hopefully, for the most part, most of us dodged a lot of the carnage that happened today and over the last week.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that we don't have any more injuries, but this is just the game that we indulge ourselves in. We just get hurt from all directions. And it's a massive injury today. That is just, of course, we'll get into it shortly, but we just hate to see it. We hate to see it as fantasy fans, as NFL fans. It's just the absolute worst part of the game. But we have to get through. But tonight, as mentioned, Week 4 review in the Supercoach lens. So we'll be going through game by game, covering some injuries, seeing what fantasy and Supercoach implications we might have due to this, and then also a little bit of Q&A if we have some time towards the end of the show. But I think we just get stuck into it, Secko. It's been a long day. I'm keen to rip through. Let's get that broken leg going. Right, so the least favorite part of the show, but we have to get through the injuries that have taken place in Week 4, starting from the top. And I'll throw this comment in here. Deadly's the first thing. Malik, sad face, mate. There should be about 30 more sad faces after that, because it is just terrible to see. Suspected ACL, everything is looking like that. We will have absolute confirmation tomorrow once he has an MRI, but absolutely hate to see it. Jackson Dart was looking good as well to start the game in his first start for the Giants. He connected on Malik in a couple of ways, and you could tell he was looking out for him a heap. So he could have lined up to be a big game. Pretty surprising that the Giants won this one with Malik going down, but absolutely hate to see it. I know for me, and I know this is Supercoach, but my home dynasty league, Malik NABERS is my wide receiver 1, and Joe Burrow was my quarterback 1 as well in that league. So that's just, I'm looking forward to next year. It's going to be a hard slog. But Secko, with this devastating Malik NABERS news, how are you feeling moving forward?
Yeah, look, it sucks. It sucks given that it was, the biggest thing I think is the hope that had come to New York with the benching of Russell Wilson, the moving on officially to Jackson Dart. And as you said, he looked great. He did look, quite a few really good on-time throws to Malik. And he still had a really good, a fairly good performance. I'm not going to say really good. He scored okay for fantasy because he was 50 and a touchdown. A couple of good passes, and then obviously he went out. There wasn't much production, but they didn't have to be. Their game plan was run the ball 25 times with Scatterbo. So, one of those things where just sucks for him. It sucks for NABERS owners. Fortunately, I'm not sort of in that camp. As from a selfish point of view, it hasn't affected me as much as others. So I didn't start him in Supercoach either. So, but those who did, it's looking like an ACL, looking like it's unfortunately time to move on from him.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. One of the top and upcoming wide receivers in the league. Devastating to see, but the good thing is he's super young. And he will be back next year. He'll probably miss the first handful of weeks or something like that. But hopefully it won't hinder his career for too long. Before we move on, Secko, Malik NABERS, with him going down, who's the number 1 option in that Giants receiving call that you'd be targeting?
Well, Darius Slayton has done it before. He's stepped in and sort of taken. He did it again. He got all 3 of his catches for 44 yards after NABERS was out, I think. Definitely 2. Maybe one of them was beforehand. But pardon me, he steps up. But really, it's like, Wan'Dale Robinson will probably get his 10 targets again for 7 catches and 40 yards as he does best. And then I don't know, they're probably not trade candidates for anybody good because what are they? What are they trying to get out of the season? Given that they've just won the game, so they go to 2 and 3, so 1 and 3. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's probably Slayton and Robinson, and look, Theo Johnson's a bit of a flyer at tight end. He had a pretty decent touchdown where he had to sort of move through some traffic there. It looked like he moved pretty well, and he might actually be a surprise little sneaky target that you might want to chuck on the back of your bench if you've got room. In traditional, obviously, not in Supercoach.
Yeah, I think if anything for me,
Supercoach, I wouldn't think anyone in Supercoach is relevant given the situation, except for maybe Dart in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think we might see a bit more production in the receiving area for Cam Scatterbo. He only had a couple of targets and catches this week, but yeah, with Malik going down, they're going to have to find a way to get him the ball more. The second biggest injury that we had, and a lot of people would be stung from this in Supercoach, they would have had him as their captain. Lamar Jackson, quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, he left the game early against their loss to the Chiefs, and it's a hamstring. We don't know the severity of it just yet, but the MRI will probably confirm that in the morning for us. From what I've been seeing from following a couple of the sports med guys out there in the media space, looking like probably 2 weeks at minimum, but his bye week is week 7, so potentially week 8 if they do slow play it. With this injury, Secko, are you kind of feeling like they'll wait until after the bye and just give him that extra week? Or again, they're 1 and 3 though, so they probably need to get some wins.
Yeah, that was going to be my thing. Is they probably can't afford to wait and have Cooper Rush out there for 2 weeks and then a bye, because if they're 1 and 5, it's season over. So, part of me thinks they're going to make him play next week. So, again, do you want to start him? Do you want to keep him? If he's not able to run, it sort of takes away all of his not all of his upside. That's a bit harsh. He's still a good passer, but takes away his biggest upside as a Supercoach and fantasy player. I've got him in a bunch of places. So yeah, I'd rather him sit out, just cover him. Not being from the Supercoach lens this time around, but yeah, it's dangerous because there's 2 weeks then a bye can sort of mean they might sit him out. You miss 3 weeks. It's a big hold for any player, let alone a guy who might come back slightly slower on what he can do best. So yeah, not feeling great about the Lamar situation, just quietly.
Yeah, there was some skepticism because they were getting dominated in that game, that maybe they just kind of held him out because the game was kind of lost. So then again, take that with a grain of salt. We'll have to wait and see what the MRI comes back with in the morning. A bit of an update on a guy that didn't play this week, Terry McLaurin, wide receiver for the Commanders. Reports are saying that they have considered surgery, which can imply it is a decent severity with his quad strain. So average is 2 to 3 weeks, potential week 6, week 7. And then also Jaden Daniels, his quarterback, he is set to play for week 5 as well. So how are you feeling about this tandem for Washington?
Jaden was pretty close to playing this week, so he'll be back next week. It's great for Debo. For Terry, it still sounds a bit sus. Like they didn't really, the story during the week was getting a second opinion, and he won't need season-ending surgery was one thing that was brought out. Anytime they say that, is generally a bad thing. It's not usually a 1 weeker. So yeah, I feel like Terry could be sort of out for a couple of weeks, maybe 3. Quads are sort of one of those things where they're usually, you don't miss any time, or you miss sort of 3. It's similar to a hamstring. So in the meantime, it's sort of going to be Debo and Ertz if with Jaden back in. So fire up those guys, but Terry will be back at some point and still be a force for fantasy, and maybe a little cheapy option for Supercoach, if it needs to be later on.
We'll have to wait and see how that one pans out. CeeDee Lamb, another guy that did not play today, wide receiver for the Cowboys. They haven't put him on IR, which is positive, but all reports it's looking like a week 7 return, which would be that 3-week timeline. So fingers crossed that case scenario. But I mean, George Pickens absolutely balled out in his place. I'll just quickly run through these next few as well. Secko, Ricky Pearsall, knee injury, once a monitor for week 5. He was on the bike towards the back end of that game for the 49ers. So, yeah, one to monitor. Darnell Mooney and Cedric Tillman, they both exited the game early in each of their respective games with a hamstring injury. So, again, one to monitor. If those guys are out, then we can expect their teammates to get some more opportunity next week and moving forward. Now, a couple of offensive linemen, Secko, and I'll actually ask you what you think of this. Joe Alt, for left tackle for the Los Angeles Chargers, high ankle sprain, looking like it's going to be 3 weeks. That's just kind of what the average is in the data out there. Again, we will confirm with the MRI tomorrow. But how are you feeling about the Chargers offense as a whole? Because they've already lost Rashawn Slater. He's out for the year. I believe that was in first game or in preseason. And then now Joe Alt is going to miss 3 weeks. So, I mean, Marion Hampton, when Alt went down, he still just ran absolute rings. I mean, he looks fantastic for the Chargers. Do you think this really hinders him at all or the offense as a whole? Or, yeah, it should still be pretty good for the next few weeks?
It should be good. He looked good after Alt was out. Again, high ankle sprains are one of those things where either 3 weeks or none, it seems. He might just tape it up and decide to go, given that he's an O lineman. He's not doing a lot of, heavy movements. Yeah. He's just got to use his hands more than anything. That he may just decide to do that. But, yeah, it definitely does hurt the offense as a whole. Can't hurt Ladd McConkey anymore, just quietly. Than he already is. But yeah, look, it's one of those things. You're missing 2 top-tier O-linemen, can only make things worse across the board, and it may just give Herbert a bit less time, which actually could bode pretty well for Hampton as an outlet target, given he's on the field, a ridiculously high percentage. So from a super coach lens for your rookies, for the rookie Hampton, it might not be that big a deal. He looked great regardless.
Yeah, if anything, it's probably just going to hinder Chargers' chances of winning moving forward, because they did lose against the Giants, which is, we wouldn't have picked that. That's just the Jackson Dart effect. And the last guy we have here is also another offensive lineman, Lane Johnson for the Philadelphia Eagles. Shoulder injury. This one's a bit of a murky situation. There's no real indication yet, but he left the game early. It did not return. Definitely another one to monitor as well for the Eagles, but they've got a lot of depth on that line as well. And I think he's really been the first guy that's going to be missing time for them this year. Any real reaction or concern for the Eagles in this one, Secko?
Yeah, a little bit. He's the first injury, but he's also their best offensive lineman by a fair stretch, for a good unit. So, Saquon didn't look good really at all today, and especially later on. I know the Bucks run D is great, so it might be just a thing of that. But just watch this. I'm not saying get off Saquon or get off. Obviously, Hurts has been really good for the most part, but this, if he's out for a while, this could hurt. Just the overall Eagles, primarily run offense more so.
Yeah, so we might see some more AJ Brown and Devonta Smith action. I thought we were going to get more of that today, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. That was just, a disaster. But that's really all the injuries for now. The top 2, of course, Malik Nabers gone for the year, and Lamar Jackson could miss a couple of weeks, but he might play through because they are 1-3, and the Steelers are 3-1. So we'll have to see how that plays out for their division. Now, with that all done, let's get into some positives and run through each game of the week. And we'll go through the top Supercoach scorers and how that looks moving forward. Let's get into our rewind. Awesome. So from the top, the first game of the week on Monday, it was the division game. Seahawks going to Arizona, and they did come away with the win, 23-20. And in this one, it was a pretty gross defensive match. It was for the Cardinals side of the ball. Anyhow, they were pretty sad until that fourth quarter, where Marv kind of saved his scoring day. But to run through this one, Kyler Murray was the top scorer, 36. Marvin Harrison, 31. Chad Ryland, 20. The Cardinals defense had put up 10, and Trey Benson put up 15. Also, Trey McBride for the Cardinals put up 17. So a bit of a disappointing for McBride and Benson in that outing. And then on the Seahawks side of the ball, Darnold, 31, top scored. Myers, the kicker, 28. Ken Walker, 22. And Zach Charbonnet also had 22. Seahawks defense, 22 also. And JSN put up 21. He didn't really have too much work there. But key takeaways here in this first game of the week for week 4, Secko.
Yeah, so JSN was on track for like one of the all-time duds. He was pretty heavily bought in, and he was only on single figures for deep into the third quarter, and he rescued it late. So you'd take the 21 as an owner, especially as someone who bought him in. It could have been a lot worse. Harrison got his first good day for the year, just as everyone got rid of him. So that's good. Good for him. It's probably I see it as a one-off. He just has looked lost more often than not, and Kyler equally is lost. So there's a perfect sort of game plan, game script situation where they had to throw it. He had to throw it a lot more, and he's only got one real target. So, and McBride was sort of the what's the word? He got all the negativity that came from Harrison having a spike game. He just missed out on some key moments. He almost got in for a touchdown as well. So yeah, he's just like all the other tight ends at the moment. He's sort of just treading water, and it's a real sucky position for Supercoach specifically.
Yeah, they're all struggling, the tight ends, unless their name is Tyler Warren. Then they're doing pretty well. But Trey McBride, at least, is still getting volume. Had 11 targets, 7 catches, but only for 52 yards. But Marvin Harrison, I was one of the owners who did move away from him this week. And, of course, he puts up that score. But then again, I'm happy that it's done. And I think if I still had Marvin Harrison now, then perfect. I'm taking this little price bump that he would get, and he's still just getting out this week. I don't want anything to do with it. You could tell how relieved he was when he caught that touchdown. He took a knee, and it was just a big sigh of relief for Marv. So, yeah, which was pretty interesting to see. And one thing I will touch on, Secko, before we get to the next game, Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. So Ken Walker, he led in opportunities, 19 carries for 81 yards and 1 catch for 29 yards. So Zach Charbonnet, 12 for 39 on the ground, and also had 2 catches for a handful of yards. Kenneth Walker's just the running back one for this team, you think. But like Charbonnet, he got the goal line carry, which got a touchdown. He also had another one that got pulled back for a JSN holding call. But I mean, Kenneth Walker's the clear number one back. You can see it on the field, but they still just give Charbonnet the juicy touches at the goal line. Do you think that'll really change as it progresses, or is this just what it is?
Look, you'd hope so. Look, I don't really particularly love either of them, specifically, that much. But when you watch a game, like it's clear and obvious to everyone that Ken Walker's so much better at running the ball and hitting gaps and being explosive. So, but they're stuck on this Charbonnet big back goal line situation. He gets stuffed more often than he gets in as well. So he got in once. That's good for him. But you'd hope that they'd flick back to more of Ken Walker, not just in between the 20s, which is where he's doing all his work at the moment, which sucks for owners. But until that sort of changes, he's sort of off all radars for me. It's a bit of a gross split now that Charbonnet's back.
Gross indeed. And speaking of gross, the next game, Pittsburgh taking on Minnesota over in Ireland. Very surprising, Steelers getting the win. They were underdogs 21-24. They were leading from the start, and they just kind of never looked back with this one. But looking at the Minnesota side of the ball, Carson Wentz, 350 yards, massive, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. In the rushing room, Jordan Mason, bit of a lackluster game, 16 for 57, and added three catches for 15 yards. But it's good to see Justin Jefferson getting some love from Carson Wentz, 10 for 126. Things you absolutely love to see. He put up 35 points for Supercoach with no touchdowns. Jordan Addison's first game back from suspension, 4 for 114 on 8 targets. And TJ Hawkinson also got involved, 4 for 39. So running through there, Supercoach scores: Carson Wentz 46, Jefferson 35, Addison 26, Mason 17, and Hawk with 11. And on the Pittsburgh side of the ball, they were battling without their running back one, Jalen Warren. But even without, Kenneth Gainwell just swooped straight in, and he still performed, put up 19 for 99 on the ground and 2 touchdowns and 6 for 35 through the air, and absolutely cooked me in one of my leagues that I was a heavy favorite in. And then I think he put up like 34 points or something like that, which is just like, absolutely kidding. Aaron Rodgers, 200 yards, 1 touchdown through the air. And one thing here that we do have, Secko, Caleb Johnson, even with Jalen Warren out, he had 6 attempts on the ground, 1 target, 6 for 22. Just doesn't look good whatsoever. What do you think about Caleb Johnson moving forward? Do you think there's a chance that he kind of improves as the season progresses, or he just doesn't have it?
No, I just don't think there's any chance this year. Maybe in future. So for dynasties, there's no issues. But this is his prime opportunity. Do a bit more, try and edge Gainwell for some time, Game will look great, mind you. Like, so he probably didn't give him a chance to take, but like he just plods along. He went at 3 point something per carry. He didn't really. I watched sort of his runs on a little compilation thing, and he's never doesn't look very explosive. Doesn't look great. So yeah, I just don't think he's ever going to be a thing until late in the season if there's a permanent injury to one of these guys or both. But Gainwell looked more than competent, and we know that Warren is definitely that, or he's a lot better than Gainwell. So yeah, I just don't think it's going to happen with Caleb Johnson. So for the I think it's 4.2% of people that have him. It's time to really time to get rid of him. Find whichever way you can. He's lost money, I think, this week. So you have to do it.
Yeah, you have to get rid of him. There's some good options out there, but we will be covering all our options for week 5 on Wednesday night's trade show. So make sure to tune in on that one at 7:30. On the Pittsburgh side of the ball for Supercoach, yeah, Gainwell with his scores put up 56. Metcalf 42. He had a good game, 5 for 126 and a touchdown. And that touchdown he had, I think it was like an 80-yard bomb, just yards after the catch. Mossed a couple of guys, fended off a couple of guys as well. He's just a beast of a human. And Aaron Rodgers put up 25. The Steelers defense put up 20, and Boswell put up 12 as well. So yeah, all in all, pretty gross game. I definitely didn't stay up till 11:30 and watch this one, and I don't think a lot of people would have. But you know, if you do have a couple of these guys,
I saw some WhatsApp chats like when I woke up in the morning at just 4:03. I saw like a bunch of people talking about like in real time at like 1 o'clock in the morning and stuff. I'm like, God, they're gonna either hate the rest of the day or miss all the good games. But obviously Steelers or Vikings fans.
Yeah, it would have been a surprising win for the Steelers. And yeah, 3-1 in the division. That door is wide open with how poorly the Ravens have kicked off the year. But moving on to the first game of the 3 a.m. slate, Atlanta. I believe Washington went to Atlanta for this one. Atlanta won 34-27. Bijan, top point scored. Man, he just did so much work in this game. And also Drake London got a lot done. Bijan, 17 for 75 on the ground and a touchdown. He also had 4 for 106 through the air, which was massive. And Drake London, 8 for 110 and a touchdown. And, of course, the old faithful, always reliable, never hurts you whatsoever. Cole Pitts Sr., 5 for 70 and a touchdown, putting up a whopping 31 points. So if you do have Cole Pitts out there, well done. Well done. You're a class act. And Michael Penix, he actually didn't look too bad today. I mean, given the last couple of weeks, just looked like an absolute shit show for him. He put up 313 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but besides that, he was all in all pretty good. Also added 39 Supercoach points, that on the Atlanta side of the ball. But on the Commanders, Marcus Mariota back out there again, 2 touchdowns through the air, an interception and 150-odd yards. Chris Rodriguez and Bill Krosky-Merritt split the carries, 7 apiece, with Rodriguez getting 12 more yards, 59-47. Deebo Samuel had a couple of carries for under 10 yards, but Deebo cleaned up through the air, 6 for 72 and a score. He was their best on field. But for Supercoach scoring, their kicker was top scorer with 36, Mariota 34, Deebo 33, and JCM, Bill Krosky-Merritt, put up 13. Key takeaways for you in this one, Secko?
Yeah, Bijan's a beast. He is 46% owned. He will be very, very highly owned. Or he might even be pricing himself out at this point. He's just great to watch. He's the best player in the game, well, best running back in the game, very clearly to my eye. Drake London, good to have him back. The people were annoyed that they traded him out last week or the week before. In the WhatsApp this morning, I reiterated the fact that his break even was more than what he scored today, so he still lost money. He's got a bye next week, and he's looked bad. If you're going off him to someone like Amon-Ra or Puka, you made money and you made points. So good to have him back, and Penix as well. For those who held on to him up till last week, hopefully got rid of him. Good score again, made some money, but not going to happen week in, week out. And on the Commander side, Deebo is the one that if you've got him, he's scoring really well. And while Terry's out, which we said off the top another couple of weeks maybe, he's the kind of guy, especially with Daniels back, he could really benefit and score regularly. So I would enjoy having him. We've said it pretty much from the start. I know Mav was a big Deebo guy from preseason. So if you listen to sort of him and us on the Supercoach shows as well, talk him up. That's he's been good. Ertz was disappointing, and Bill, obviously, one of our boys, Bill, looks like the luster, the sheen is rubbing off him pretty quick. He just can't get the backfield to himself. So until then, might be someone to trade out at the 6% who's got him.
Yeah, and Rodriguez looked pretty good too in those those 7 carries that he had. Yeah, put up 59 yards, which was pretty neat. So yeah, it's a murky situation there at the Commanders, but love the Debo call over the next couple of weeks. In the next game, won't really need to spend too much time on this one. The Saints went to Buffalo and lost to the Bills 31-19. The Saints just look really gross. In this one, I'll start off this side of the ball. Spencer Rattler, 126 through the air, 1 touchdown. He also added 49 yards rushing. Along with the rushing for the Saints, Alvin Kamara, 15 for 70, and Kendre Miller looked pretty good. He put up 11 for 65 and a score. In the receiving game, Rashid Shaheed had top with 4 for 47. Juwan Johnson was a letdown for us, 3 for 28. Only 3 targets as well, which was a bit concerning. And Chris Olave, 3 for 20, so he didn't really do anything for you. And Chris Olave, he did throw an interception on a trick play, which was not good at all. Just looked absolutely horrid. Absolutely horrid.
Yeah.
The top scorer for the Saints was Spencer Rattler with 27, Kendre Miller 25, Kamara 18, and Olave 17, Juwan Johnson 8. But on the Bill side of the ball, Josh Allen, very popular vice captain option. He was one of our choices in last week's captain's huddle. I know for me, I had the VC on Josh Allen, and I just completely forgot to loop somebody in. Luckily, the guy that I had the captain on wasn't too many points behind him. But James Cook 41, Khalil Shakir had a nice big score for put up 30 Supercoach points. Kincaid 18, and Keon Coleman put up a measly 12 points here. I think pretty stock standard across the board. I was surprised that the Bills didn't put more points on the Saints in this one. But how did you feel about this game, Secko, and any real takeaways as we look into week 5?
Yeah, as you said, Saints games are just gross at the moment, and we probably spend the least amount of time every single week on Saints games, and for good reason, because they don't score a lot of points, and it's sort of a different person each week. Like Kendre Miller, top scoring outside Rattler, he's just one of those weird things. And Juwan Johnson, who was the only shining light, scoring 8 for those that brought him in, giving us absolutely nothing. Well, JA was Josh Allen was battling early. There wasn't a lot happening. I know there's a lot of angry people who would put the straight C on him. But he rescued his day late, a couple of big scores. James Cook's just been, I've said it week on week, he's just been an absolute superstar for this format. If you started him, I know a lot of the good teams, a lot of the high scoring teams have him on there, and with good reason, because he's just been consistently, I could probably look at it now because I'm on here, he's consistently been above 30, I know that much. So he scored 36, 51, 38, and now 41. I mean, that's elite. It's unbelievable. And it's good to have Shakir sort of there. The only downside really was Keon Coleman. He's had a few bad weeks in a row now. He's still owned by, I think it's 9, almost 10% of people. He's had 8, 7, and what was it, 10 today or 12 today? So yeah,
12,
he's break even. He's going to lose money. His break even is going to be still up in that high 20s. So if you do still have Keon Coleman, time to look for other options. What's his price point there? So he'll be about 9 mil, thereabouts. So maybe time to start looking elsewhere, because he's not really giving you points or making any money.
Yeah, that Bills receiving room, I'd just, especially for Supercoach, just definitely kind of fade it, because there's too many mouths to feed, and in a lot of these games, they don't really need the receivers to step up. I mean, it's the James Cook and Josh Allen show, as we saw again today. Moving on to the next game, Detroit beating Cleveland at Detroit 34-10. Starting off on the Cleveland side of the ball, Joe Flacco looked horrid. 184 yards for 2 ints. One of the ints, it was just a throwaway, and he didn't throw it out clear enough, and there was just a defender there and just caught it like it was just a gift.
Wasn't even that. It looked like a punt. It went straight up in the air. Like it wasn't even a throwaway, because it looked literally like he just forgot what to do. I don't know. I
think whoever called that interception, maybe he told his family to put the house on that guy to have an int, and he just threw it straight to him. That was was wacky to see. But in a shining light for the Cleveland team, the only real one in the day, Quinshon Judkins just keeps looking good. 21 for 82 on the ground, had a touchdown. and also added 4 for 33 in the receiving game, putting up 38 points. He top scored for the Browns, and it gets a tough running defense as well in Detroit. They've got a big line up front, and Aiden Hutchinson there as well. So yeah, he looks really, really good. The letdowns for Cleveland was pretty much everybody else. Harold Fannin, a little cheapy, 2 for 24. He might even be losing money, only putting up 6 this week. Isaiah Bond, he was not a shining light, but he performed the best for the receiving room, 3 for 58. Jerry Jeudy, 3 for 48 on 9 targets, which is just, Flacco just couldn't really do anything in this one. And David Njoku as well with a letdown, 2 for 11. Cedric Tillman, as we mentioned from the top of the show, he did exit with a hamstring injury, so he'll probably be out next week, but he only put up 1 for 6. But for Detroit, I mean, they just keep continuing to put up points and providing the goods for fantasy and Supercoach. Amon-Ra St. Brown had another big day, 7 for 70 with 2 scores, putting up 45 Supercoach points. The Detroit Lions defense cooked me in one of my matchups, put up 38. Jahmyr Gibbs, 33. Jared Goff, 27. And also Jake Bates put up 26. The only real disappointments on that side of the ball, Sam Laporta, 3 for 39. Jamison Williams, 2 for 40. And David Montgomery, after his massive game last week, he put up 9 for 12 and no catches on this one. But, I mean, besides Quinshon Judkins on the Browns, Secko, is there anybody else that you have faith in moving forward? Or is it just Judkins and you don't want any part to do with the Browns?
Nah, it's just Judkins. Even Fannin has just shown, unless something changes, Flacco is just one too many years for Flacco, it seems. Wouldn't be surprised at all if Dylan Gabriel's a starting quarterback next week. But yeah, it's not going to hurt Judkins at all. He's just, if he doesn't get suspended, he's going to be an absolute. That's the reason why I didn't want to bring him in this week, because last thing I want to do is train to a guy who's rubbed out. But if he avoids suspension for a while or the whole year, he'll just be an absolute steal for Supercoach, and then but also, real fantasy as well. So he's the only one in that team. Judy's horrid, pretty much, without a quarterback. Bond had a good day. He was unsigned. Week 2 of preseason, so come from nowhere. Let's stick to good things though. The Lions are just so much fun to watch when they're up and about. All the preseason concerns about Ben Johnson being gone and then being stagnant, it lasted 1 week against was it Baltimore in that first week when they were
Packers.
Packers, who were who were a good defense once, but I'll get back to that later. Remember that time that Packers were considered a good defense? It was only a couple of days ago. But Amon-Ra, super efficient. Gibbs is great in the fact that he can do it both ways. He only had 2 catches today, but he's the only running back to beat the Browns defense on the season so far. We saw what Monty did. So these guys, they're sort of shaping up like the Rams in a way, where there's only a couple of guys you want in fantasy formats, and it's great because they just dominate the whole game, especially the 2 of them. They're just amazing to watch, and good to have them. One of them in Supercoach and one in the other formats.
Yeah, you've got to be feeling good about Detroit and Dan Campbell. Yeah, he's just the man. He's just built that culture too strong that they just won't be lacking. Yeah. And somebody that we will be mentioning a lot on Wednesday's trade show with Judkins, he's at minus 32 break even as well, which is just, he's going to make some serious cash moving forward. But with a couple of the rookie running backs we had performing today, it might be hard to move them out, but we'll get onto those later. Moving on to the next game, Houston taking on the Titans, and Houston shut them out, which was surprising. But Cam Ward, he just couldn't do anything against his Texans defense. I was actually thinking about taking the Titans line. Luckily, I did not do that because I would have absolutely got smacked on that bet. But Cam Ward, 108 yards for 1 intercept. Not really anything there. He had 2 rushes for 22 yards on the ground. Tony Pollard, 14 for 64 on the ground. He also added 3 catches. Just solid. I think he put up 10 points in traditional fantasy, but that's just really all he can really do. The receiving game for Tennessee with Cam Ward struggles definitely reflected. Alec Ayomana still led in targets, 2 for 44 on 7 targets. Calvin Ridley, 2 for 30 on 3 targets. He's definitely taken the back seat. Really, and Chigga Conquo, I can't believe it. My start of the week put up big 1 for 4 on 3 targets, but they could not do anything against this Texans defense. And the Texans, they just walked all over Tennessee. CJ Stroud had a massive week, put up 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, also added 11 on the ground. Not much, but, it's something. Woody Marks, rookie running back, 4th round pick. It looks like he's just taking over. We've got our waiver wire show tomorrow for traditional fantasy, and there is no way that he won't be the top target. Looking at it now, 17 for 69 on the ground, looked very explosive, had a touchdown, and through the air, he put up 4 for 50 with another touchdown, and he top scored with 51 in Supercoach. Nick Chubb, 13 for 47. Nico Collins, he did all right, 4 for 79, just a very floor game. But they didn't really need him much more besides that because the Titans just could not do anything whatsoever. That's pretty much it for that game. CJ Stroud, 36 points. The Texans defense, 28. Fairbairn, the kicker, put up 20. Nico put up 19. And on the other side, Cam Ward, 10, and Alec Ayomana with 10. Really not too much more on this game. Secko, is there anything that you wanted to kind of throw in here before we move on?
No, it's just Woody Marks. Unfortunately, he's had his big game on his third match, and not his second, so you can't cash in on before the price rise. He's in about $2.5 million to 6, to almost 6.2. But his break even is going to be minus 27. So, yeah, probably not a super coach option, but we'll talk tomorrow about waiver wire for traditional fantasy. Otherwise, man, Titans just, no.
Yeah,
I think Cam Ward's going to find his way out of my team just pretty soon. Maybe one more week, and I'll go straight to Dart. Just burn a trade there. He's done, or I might even get McCarthy back if he's back in. He's just he has one okay game, but he can't do anything. He's even making people like Conco, who we believe in, and Amana, who we believe in, look second rate. So he's cactus. That team's pretty much cactus until something changes, and I feel like something might change tomorrow, a la the first coach fired for the season. But we'll see what happens.
I like that. I like that call. Yeah, Callahan. Yeah, he looks horrid. The time management.
Yeah.
There was I saw a heap.
On that.
Absolutely terrible. And definitely not what a rookie quarterback needs. Sorry, Secko, I kind of cut you off there. Was there anything else that you wanted to throw in on this one?
No. The only thing was Nico, you hit the nail on the head. He didn't really have to do much. They just sort of cruised the whole game, as was shown by 30 running back carries. That's the sign that they were well in hand for the entire game. So, just don't worry about Nico. He's only scored, I think, 19 or 20 super coach. You can get rid of him if you want. You can also hold him because there's every chance he could have 30, 40, 50 next week. So, I'm okay with holding Nico, but we'll get to that on Wednesday.
And before we get into the next game, I will just say thanks heaps for everyone throwing in these comments into the chat. We absolutely love to see it. We will get to all of these comments once we crunch through all of these games here. So stick around and we'll be able to get to that. Moving on to the next game. Speaking of, Jackson Dart starts for the Giants at home, potentially saves Brian Daboll a couple of weeks and not losing his job, beating the undefeated LA Chargers 21-18. And this was just Chargers didn't really have too many answers. I mean, besides Quentin Johnson and Marion Hampton, everybody else is pretty average. Justin Herbert, 203 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. On this one, he put up only 28 Supercoach points. But Marion Hampton, I mean, just absolutely had a ripping game after last week as well. 12 for 128 on the ground and a score. He also added 5 for 37 through the air on 5 targets, which is just absolutely what we love to see. He top scored in the game overall with 49. Second top scorer in the game, Quentin Johnston. I just can't believe that we're still talking about this guy 4 weeks in. I thought it was going to be a 1 or 2 week wonder, but he just looks like the main guy for the Chargers, and he actually looks really good. 8 for 98 in the receiving game and a score on a whopping 13 targets, put up 39 Supercoach points. And Lad McConkey, he's just suffering at the moment. 1 for 11 on 6 targets. Keenan Allen performed better, but not that much better. 5 for 37 on 7 targets. But for Keenan Allen, 12 Supercoach points. Lad McConkey, 3. So I think he'll definitely be in discussion in our trade out segment on Wednesday. But on the Giants side of the ball, before getting to you, Secko, Jackson Dart, he will be a prime cheapie and a good option to move on, like you mentioned, from Cam Ward. Put up 38 points. I believe his cost as well, it was it was super low. Oh no, 4.3 mil. So it would have been the same as
Yeah.
Cam
Yeah,
Ward's
so
was
Cam
coming
Ward
out.
pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
And the only other person really worth mentioning, Cam Scatterbo put up 23 Supercoach points, massive 25 carries, 79 yards, and a couple of catches as well. And then, of course, Malik Neighbours going down in this game. He only saw 2 catches on for 20 yards and only put up 6 Supercoach points on his way out, which is very sad to see. But this game for you, Secko, very surprising that the Giants got the nod, and terribly sad that Malik Neighbours will no longer be with us for this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's so much to talk about in this game. I don't want to take too long, but I want to sort of hit on everything. It probably buys Dable the best part of 2 months. It's ridiculous how one win can do that. He moved to a quarterback, and it wasn't his reason it wasn't his doing necessarily of why they won. But they did, and it justifies that move, and there's hope back, and they look like a completely different sort of situation, which they were. Their game plan is going to be very clear from here on. So anyone who got on Scatterbo, he's going to make 2.6 mil. It wasn't the most amazing scoring day. His break even is going to be minus 35 though, and they're going to run through him. That's going to be, he's going to get a lot of catches. He's going to get a lot of rushing opportunities. So if you jumped on him, that's awesome from Supercoach. You can probably ride him all the way through, for another 4 or 5 weeks, I reckon. And Dart will be a very good price off of 38 in the first week. Think about what JJ McCarthy sort of was after 2 weeks. This is pretty much what he's going to be on. That really deep negative break even. Obviously, we touched on Malik enough. I don't want to get too deep on it. It just sucks. He's a trade out. Just find someone that you're going to love as much as you love Malik when you bring him in. Hampton, we've touched on. It makes me sick that so many people trade him out. We sort of gave advice last Wednesday to sort of hold. I remember there was comments in the chat about getting rid of Genty and getting rid of Hampton. We're not getting rid of Hampton. Had a good week last week, but the week before, comments about getting rid of Hampton, and we were just saying, nah, they're rookies. They're priced that takes 1 week, and it's to the moon. And we've seen that now. Hampton's had a second week. He's going to make $3.2 million this week, minus 44 break even. So he gets 20 next week. He makes another 3 million. He could easily get to 15 mil in 4 weeks' time. Ridiculous. So if you trade him out for, what is it, like this 7.5 mil that he was on, you've robbed yourself. So yes, you move to Scatterbo or Judkins, and that's awesome, but this guy scores and makes money. We'll get to his other mate who finally had a day as well. But the rookies, I think we've got to be extra super vigilant and just give them an extra chance, because the money they can make and a trade saved plus points on field when they're in a good situation is unbelievable. And finally, you mentioned it, Quentin Johnston. I was convinced he'd be 2 weeks max of relevancy. But now I do remember he was the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, or first round pick in the NFL draft. He's franking that. He's the real deal now. I'm happy to say I was wrong for the last month, because he's legit. He looks like he's legit. So you can't start him for Supercoach. He's going to be like same price as Jackson Smith and Jigba, but he's bloody good.
Yeah, he looks really good. It just goes to show putting a good head coach in with Harbaugh has just fixed him right up, giving him all the confidence in the world, and he is reaping the rewards in that. Moving on to our next game, New England Patriots absolutely dominating Carolina Panthers in Foxborough, 42-13. Starting off with the Panthers on this side of the ball, Bryce Young, 18 off 30 attempts, or 18 completions off 30 attempts, 150 yards and a touchdown. Not horrid. Didn't add anything on the ground. Chuba Hubbard, 10 for 49. He split a lot of work with Trevor Etienne. He had 7 carries, and Rico Dowdle also had 9 carries. But I think this game was just too far away. Chuba just wasn't going to get as much work as what we would have hoped. And in the receiving game, bit of a letdown. Ted McMillan, 4 for 62. Gonzalez was in this game as well, which did limit his opportunity. He's a good lockdown corner for the Patriots. Tommy Tremble put up 5 for 42. And a score, but nobody would have had him whatsoever. that's really it for the Carolina side of the ball. It was pretty disappointing. All in all, the game was just too far away. But Drake May just continues to be a stud. Only had 17 attempts, 14 completions for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks. He also added a rushing touchdown as well. So 3 touchdowns for the day for Drake May. Put up 46 in this one, top scored. New England Patriots defense put up 34. And I played the Cardinals over the Pats, which is probably going to cost me in a couple of matchups. And I think I saw that as well in one of the comments, but we'll get to this as we get through. For the rushing attack for New England, Ramondre Stevenson, 9 for 38. He's still taking stuff away from Trevion, but Trevion did see a little bit more work, 7 for 32, and he also got a score. They were close up to the goal line, and they gave it off to Trevion, which we absolutely love to see, getting him 22 points in this one, dropping him into the minuses for his break-evens moving forward. And Stephon Diggs had a big day, 6 for 101. It was good to see him get a bit more involved. And I think just slowly as the weeks turn on, coming off that ACL, he's just going to get more and more involved. And he looks pretty good. He definitely looks like the best receiver that the Patriots have, especially in this game. And Hunter Henry, tried and true, 2 for 39, but he did save the day with the score. And Henderson put up a couple of catches as well in this one. But, I mean, Stephon Diggs, 26 points. Henderson, 22, like I mentioned. Hunter Henry, 21. Tech McMillan, a lot of people would have started him. He only put up 16. A bit disappointing, but he still has a pretty low break even, which he should look to bounce back with next week. But Pats versus the Panthers in this one, Secko, what did you think overall?
Yeah, Drake May's been he's been really solid. He's just a really good fantasy quarterback. He's a good real life quarterback, don't get me wrong, but he really does the things that score points in fantasy, which is what we love. When none of us are Patriots fans. The DST, a lot of people bench them. They're highly owned, but they're not highly started. So that sucks. A lot starting Arizona or even worse, the 49ers D. 49ers D probably need to go soon, but I'm not, that's just me personally. I don't want to waste a trade on the defenses, but they suck. They suck his entire franchise, so I'm happy to hear that as a Rams fan. They lost to the Jags today. They should be embarrassed and probably out of the league for it. Trevion, it's good to see him back. I'm livid at Mike Vrabel. I can't believe that he still gave 60% of the snap share to Ramondre Stevenson after fumbling twice. It will turn eventually. It just sucks that the 22 for Henderson probably should have been 44 if he was given a reasonable share, because he's just so much better than everyone else in that backfield. And there was, obviously a rushing touchdown to Gibson, which, also would have easily been Henderson had he been given the opportunity. And Teteroa, he was held pretty well by Gonzalez first game back. He's just plugging away. He's probably scoring at his floor every single week, it seems. He's owned by 60% almost of the community. So his break even is going to be 9 next week. It's probably a hold, but you might look to cash him out in the next couple of weeks, which sucks because I sort of envisioned making a bit more than 3 mil out of him. But we'll talk about that probably next week. It's probably a conversation for one more week after the injuries we've had. But yeah, disappointing a little bit, but he could have one big game like Genty and Hampton and so many other rookies have had to sort of kickstart that cash gen again. So we'll see what happens.
I think even 2 weeks we should look to give Tet Secko, because look at the schedule and tell me I'm wrong. They've got Miami next week and they've got Cowboys the week after.
Yeah.
So, if he doesn't score,
just looked as you said it.
Yeah. If he doesn't score I don't think he's had a touchdown yet either.
No.
In his career. So I mean, if he doesn't get a touchdown in at least one of those next 2 games, I'll be absolutely gobsmacked. Please hold on to Tet. He will come good, especially with those matchups. God damn, that's juicy. That is very, very juicy. We'll have to make some trades after this show. But moving on to the next game. This one was a fun one to watch. Tampa Bay taking on the Philly Eagles. Battle of the 3-0 teams. Philly came out on top in Tampa Bay, 31-25. This one did come down to the wire. The Bucs were behind for a lot of the game. I believe there was – I want to say that there was a defensive score, but I could be wrong. I could be thinking of a different game in this one.
There was a block. I think yet another block field goal or something similar.
Yeah,
might have been
I
his
could
game
be.
as well,
Yeah,
but
I could be wrong. But looking at it, looks like Philly covered a lot of touchdowns in this one, starting with Jalen Hurts.
mm,
He only threw for 130 passing yards because they were leading for a lot of the game, but he had 2 touchdowns in this one. Rushing, he also added 9 for 62. He top scored for the Eagles with 38 Supercoach points. Saquon Barkley, 19 for 43. He did make up for it with a score and also added 4 for 31 to the receiving game. He put up 30 points. It's okay. Definitely
mm,
not what you want as one of the highest priced running backs in this one. But again, you're not really going to trade out Saquon if you're looking to trade him out. You want to go super young. You don't really want to just do a sideways primo trade. The receiving room for Philly, of course, Dallas Goedert got all the work, 4 for 37 and 2 scores. Devonta Smith, 2 for 29, and AJ Brown. So glad that I didn't start the year with him. He had 2 for 7 on 9 targets, which was absolutely gross. Oh, yeah, and deadly, he did cover blocked punt return,
mm,
first touchdown of the game. Yeah, I thought I could been up for too long today. I just couldn't quite remember.
yeah,
On the Tampa Bay side of the thing, I believe Baker, this was his first turnover this year so far. He had an interception later on in the game. He still put up pretty good for Supercoach, 289 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Also had 13 rushing. He put up 39 Supercoach points. Bucky Irving. I moved Bucky Irving out last week for JT. Of course, he puts up 45 Supercoach points, 15 for 63, and put up 5 for 102 and a score in the receiving game. And his touchdown reception was just a monster. He just absolutely cut this guy out on the sideline, and Baker just lined him up. And yeah, he was too quick. I think a linebacker was on him. There was absolutely no way. And Mecca Egbuka just keeps providing me absolute goods. 4 for 101 and a touchdown. He had a big 77-yard touchdown grab, which definitely made up his day. 36 points for Egbuka. He's just going to make so much cash. Yeah, I can see you've got here Secko, 2.1 mil. He's going to make it a minus 10 break even. Like he's just going to, with Mike Evans out, he's going to absolutely keep eating in that. And then there wasn't really anything else besides that from the Tampa Bay side of the ball. So yeah, Philly Eagles go to 4-0. That passing attack or receiving game just looks woeful, Secko. But we're mentioning with Lane Johnson injured, they're one of their star tackles. Do you think this will improve for the Philly Eagles moving forward? I mean, I'll quickly have up their schedule to give you a little bit more context. They've got the Broncos next week, a tough defense, the Giants, and then the Vikings. That one there.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of 50-50 on that. But how are you feeling?
Yeah, look, I had a feeling it was tough-ish. And so 2 of those 3 are obviously the Giants just made the Chargers look a bit ordinary as well. So they're not as bottom of the league as we thought they were. So I saw some people talking about getting in Hurts if Lamar's confirmed out for a few weeks, going straight to Hurts. I don't know if trading in Hurts is the move. He has one good week, and then he's sort of just, and he had 38, so it's not horrible, but he just gets stuck in these ruts for fantasy. He doesn't score blocks of points like Josh Allen and Lamar when they're fit seem to do. So, or Drake May does, really. Patrick Mahomes does. Dak Prescott does. So, yeah, I'm worried about if Lane Johnson's out. I'm worried about him. I'm obviously worried about Saquon, but you're not moving him on. And they're off. Yeah, their receivers need to really something needs to happen because there's concerning numbers coming out of them. Well, flip to the good side though, Bucky. He's been unbelievable. If I was not talking about, I would start him in Supercoach in a heartbeat because he's been so reliable. But if we're talking, standard fantasy here, this guy could be a late first round, early second round pick. The way he's just performing, he's what everyone wanted Chase Brown to be. That's really the reality of where he's at. What everyone thought Chase Brown would be. Let's put it that way. And he's been amazing. And then Egbuka, what more can we say? 10 targets. He's just he'll be in our team for a long time. I feel. Hopefully everyone's still got him. I'm sure no one would have got rid of him. He's 63% owned. But yeah, he's still a minus break even. He's already made, what do we say, in the 6 million range, I think, roughly. So he's already made I think it's close to $6 million. He'll make a fair bit more. So fortunate to have a rookie that continues to score well, and circumstances helped him stay that number one receiver for them. Even with Goldman back in, it was still very much Egberger getting the high quality targets. So, and the less we say about AJ Brown, he's only got 4% owned. So thankfully, people listened to our advice over the last couple of weeks, and followed Mavin when he was a rage trade a couple of weeks ago, and got rid of AJ Brown if they started with him.
Yeah, and good that you touched on Chris Godwin in this one too. It was his first game back. But again, it looks like it will take him a couple of weeks to ramp up because, he's just not match fit. He did have 10 targets, but only 3 catches for 26 yards. A lot of them would have just been Baker throwing away in his direction. So take that with a bit of a grain of salt. But moving on to the next game, and this was a fun one. And Secko, you called it. This was the Daniel Jones. Oh, it was a bit of a slight pumpkin. He put up plenty of points for us in Supercoach, but he did not look as good as he has been. 262 through the air, touchdown and 2 interceptions. For JT on the ground, 17 for 76. He also added 5 for 20. He put up a 24. That's probably just his floor. Didn't have any scores. Tyler Warren actually got the touchdown at the goal line. He had 2 carries for 3 yards and a touchdown, and he also put up 5 for 70 through the air as well. So you'd be pretty happy with Tyler Warren, but if you have him and JT, you did pay the price, him eating into JT's work. But Tyler Warren top scored for the Colts with 31. Michael Pittman had 5 for 41 and a score. He had 25 points. Daniel Jones, he had 24 Supercoach points. Adonai Mitchell, 3 for 96. He had a massive catch, Bob touchdown, and he pulled a Malachi Corley from last year. He dropped the ball before he crossed the plane in the end zone, and it fumbled, went out of bounds. Touchback for the Rams, and that just took the wind out of the sails. That was late too in the game, I believe, Secko. So that would have put them back in contention, I believe. But then Stafford did what Stafford does best: 375 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and a massive bomb to Tutu Atwell to pretty much seal the game in the end. Kyron Williams looks as sturdy as ever: 13 for 77 and 3 for 17 through the air. Blake Corum had 9 carries. But didn't really do too much with it. So it's definitely still Kyron's field. Kyron put up 17 points. So actually pretty lackluster. He really needs a touchdown. But Puka Nacua, I mean, he could be a Triple Crown winner. The touchdowns haven't quite been there. It's good to see him getting a receiving touchdown, but 13 for 170 yards on 15 targets. He will be the wide receiver 1, and that's not a bold call. That's just me pointing the obvious. Moving forward, without Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, Puka is definitely that clear guy. Devontae 4 for 56 and a score, saved his day. He had 27 points, and Tutu Atwell, 1 catch on 88 yards and a touchdown for him. Puka Nacua top scored 59 Supercoach points. Matt Stafford 54, and the Rams defense put up 18. But I mean, Puka Nacua, Secko, I mean, you as a Rams fan, how happy do you feel that he's a part of your team?
Yeah, it's not a bold statement. It's not even I think it's a statement of fact. He's the wide receiver 1 for fantasy. He's probably the wide receiver 1 in real life. It's pretty great that the Rams had Cooper Kupp in a Triple Crown year, and then the very next year in round 4 drafted a guy who is his complete replacement. So much to the point we could get rid of him and not have to watch the decline of Kupp. So. It's fantastic. I just wish I had more of him in fantasy. I bought him in this week. He paid me back. It could be strength to strength here because Stafford looks good. Stafford doesn't. We were worried about that back, and that's probably why I don't have more of him in fantasy. Personally, I was worried about Stafford missing time and Garoppolo being as bad as he is. But yeah, from Rams' perspective, he's Puka's just everything. He's the whole offense. As you can see, you read out the stats. He had 15 targets of Stafford's 41, 13 catches. The next highest was 4 catches on the team, which was Devontae. So he's just the man. From the Colts, look, we sort of foreshadowed a little bit that Danny Dimes might not have the biggest day as he's had previous weeks. He would have had 32 if Mitchell had held onto that ball. So it's a little bit different in scoring. 24 to 32 is a pretty considerable jump in this format. But Tyler Warren's the man. I wouldn't be too discouraged about JT. He had a -9 break even, so he still make plenty of money. He's priced out for a lot of people at 23.5. From a super coach perspective, he's just a bit unlucky as well. He had a touchdown that was called back on a Adonai Mitchell hold, which happened the drive after he dropped the touchdown. So Adonai Mitchell would have been probably game number one for the Colts fans. There, he cost him 2 touchdowns and effectively cost him the game. But yeah, JT is going to be completely fine. This is his floor.
And moving on to a game that you were pretty happy with the outcome, Secko. San Fran losing to the Jags 26-21. And the Jags, their D-line looks legit. It looks so tight. They've been stopping the run a heap. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, we'll start off with him. 17 for 49 on the ground. So, yeah, not too efficient on all those carries. But, of course, his receiving work is just out of this world. 6 for 92 and also a score. He top scored for the 49ers with 45. I actually left the C on CMC, and I think you did as well, Secko. But you know, I mean, we take it. You're pretty happy with 45. If you get 45, that's pretty solid. You can smile and move on. You didn't make too much of a meal of that. But Brock Purdy, his first game back from that shoulder and toe injury that he was dealing with, he put up 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Not too great for him, but of course, first game back, he'll look to ramp up in the receiving game for the 49ers. Back up tight end or starting tight end now with George Kittle, Jake Tongs, 3 for 58 and a score. He had 26 super coach points. I can't imagine too many people having him. Ricky Pearsall, again, we mentioned him at the top of the show, dealing with a hamstring injury, 4 for 46, only put up 13 points for you. And Juwan Jennings, 2 for 24 and a score. He was dealing with an injury when he came into this game, so don't read too much into that. But given that they were trailing for a lot of this game, he really should have saw some more work in that one. But looking at the Jags side, the winning team, Trevor Lawrence, pretty ordinary, 174 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no ints. Didn't give you anything on the ground. But Travis Etienne just looks so good. 19 for 124 and a score on the ground. He had a 48-yard carry. I think he got stopped with that. Doesn't have the full juice, but he also gave you only gave you 1 catch through the air. But Brian Thomas Jr., 5 for 49 through the air. Really, 7 targets. Didn't really give you anything, but they were leading for a lot of this game. Brenton Strange, 6 for 45, and Travis Hunter, pretty ordinary, 3 for 42, and also Bayshell Tootin didn't really give you too much through the ground or the air. Travis Etienne, 37 Supercoach points. The Jags defense, 30. Trevor Lawrence, 22. Brian Thomas Jr., we hope you traded him out. I know he was out in week 1 for me. He only put up 15. Travis Hunter only put up 11 again. He's just not really giving you too much. But takeaways from this game, Secko. I mean, CMC, he's just getting so much work. Hopefully he can withstand all of these touches. I mean, he's on track to have the most touches ever, I think, in history at this 17-game pace, which is not good for a running back who has just been absolutely smacked with injuries the last couple of years. How are you feeling about CMC as a whole? And I guess, can we expect this San Fran team to progress week 5 with Kittle coming back?
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Kittle back helps Purdy. It's good Purdy had a game back without, before Kittle got back. So now it's Kittle and McCaffrey. And McCaffrey won't have to shoulder all of that, like 11 targets. So you only had 23 catches and rushes combined, but those targets, you generally get hit on targets as much as you do when you catch the ball and get tackled. So he didn't escape much of the punishment from the Jags D. Jags are 3-1 just quietly. It's interesting. They still haven't looked great outside of Travis Etienne in any game, but they're obviously being coached really well and drilled really well. So Travis is the takeaway. He was the whole offense. He pretty much did everything for them, and he was and their defense held them in a really good stead, as well as Brock Purdy's three turnovers. McCaffrey is the kind of guy. I'm with you. He's taking a punishment every single week. From a super coach lens, you just ride him until he gets injured. He's going to get injured at some point. If we're talking fantasy, maybe it's time to look to trade him, because you can get some serious high value as long as you're not too not too annoyed about missing out on him, staying in all season if he somehow stays fit. But he's going at 28 opportunities per game. No one can withstand that, let alone a 29-year-old coming off injuries. He's just going to have to slow down, or hopefully Kittle spells him a bit next week.
Yeah, hopefully with Kittle back, McCaffrey can see some rushing touchdowns. Hasn't not had one on the whole year. They've just been going to weird and wacky places for the 49ers. And just quietly, Jags, they should be 4-0 because they lost to the Bengals in that gross game with Jake Browning taking over. And I think it was only 3 points in it. So there's every world where they should have been 4-0 with that one. But moving on, probably the game of the week with the most coverage besides the final game of today. The Ravens went into Arrowhead and got absolutely pumped, 37-20. Chiefs were home dogs in this game, and they just silenced a lot of people in here. Xavier Worthy's first game back, and he helped out Mahomes. Mahomes had a cracking game, 270 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Didn't really give you much on the rushing, but he didn't need to. He put up 54 Supercoach points, so you're very happy if you do have him in your squad. Xavier Worthy, like I mentioned, his first game back with that dislocated shoulder. He did have a brace on during this game, but he gave you 2 for 38 on the ground and also 5 for 83 through the air. So he put up 28 points, pretty solid. Butker, the kicker, put up 26. Isaiah Pacheco got into the end zone on a reception. He got you 23 points. But besides that, Juju Smith-Schuster, 23. Hollywood Brown, 22. He got a score. Kelsey, he is just, if you still have Kelsey, and I believe I guarantee we'll be talking about him again Wednesday night because his ownership is at 12% still, which is crazy. He has to go. Zet Worthy's there. Rice is going to be back in a couple of weeks. There's just going to be no room for Kelsey to give you any relevant production. And on the Ravens side of the ball, Lamar Jackson, quarterback, he went down with that hamstring injury. And again, we are just waiting on confirmation with how severe that is. But he put up 147 yards through the air, a touchdown, 1 interception. He also gave you 48 yards on the ground and gave you only 22 Supercoach points. So a lot of people would have had the straight C on him. They would have felt some pain with that. Could be a nice little lesson that, say, if you have the VC on Allen and he puts up 51, or even if you had Hurts, I guess 51. He put up 38. That's just that risk to reward. These injuries can happen if you don't come away with that loop and have that solid option. This is the return that you can kind of get. It's not a good one. And in turn, Derrick Henry was a very big letdown as well. Put up 13 Supercoach points, 6 for 48, 8 for 42 on the ground. Couple of catches for 16 yards, but Justice Hill, he got a lot of work in this one because they were behind a lot of this game. 3 for 76 on the ground with a score. He also gave you 5 for 41 with a score through the air as well and put up 52 points. But then again, not a lot of people would have had him whatsoever. Zay Flowers was okay, 7 for 74. He had a bit of a floor game. At least it wasn't an absolute bomb that he has had a couple of times this year. Mark Andrews, 7 targets for 30 yards, 8 targets for 30 yards on 7 catches. He gave you 13 points. So, pretty dismal. And that's really it for this game here. But starting off the Ravens, Secko, I mean, if Cooper Rush does come in or Lamar misses a couple of weeks, is he just an instant trade for you at that point? Like I said, he's got the bye in week 7. I think it is. So, with how we are, we're moving into week 5. Very, very good chance they just kind of rested. But you made a good point. They might not be able to with how they've started. But how are you feeling about the Ravens before getting onto the Chiefs?
Yeah, I'd probably go as far to say if he's out this week, you trade him. Because of what you said, if he misses 1, there's a chance he misses 2, then he misses the 3rd. He's going to lose nearly $1.5 million on today's effort. So he goes down to 29. If you wait a couple more weeks later, you might be able to get him at 27 or so, mil. So I just think it's, you're carrying him for 3 weeks, most likely, if he misses this week. It's a big ask when you can, it's hard to substitute the points with there's no bench rookies are worth any real points to you. So I'd get rid of him. I'd get rid of obviously Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's going to lose $3.5 million this week. So he'll be priced at just over 17 mil within break even. We still up about 60 or so. He could be a really good buy after their buy at sort of that 14, 15 mils areas, as long as Lamar's back and they're fixed and everything's back up and running. They've got a lot easier schedule after their buy than they had before. Say Flowers was obviously, he had a decent day. He sort of saved some of his, potential losses, but he's still going to lose a fair bit of cash. Hopefully, I don't know if he's a trade out, but he was sort of just okay. If Lamar's out, he probably is a trade out. And on the other side of the ball, Mahomes has been great, worthy back, fit. I didn't think he would have as big a role. And he hit the nail on the head, mate. Kelsey, if you're still in your team, it's time to look. I know it's not ideal to trade tight ends. We've sort of pretty much panned that the entire last few weeks, but sometimes you've got to look to the value that you can get on anyone else. Jake Ferguson would have been a perfect play coming to this week off Kelsey, but then we'll talk about it Wednesday when there's more options going into next week.
And I think just a good point as well, Secko, that you mentioned on Lamar Jackson. I know for me, I didn't bring him in early. I had that mind. I had Josh Allen, where they share the same bye in week 7. But yeah, if you didn't bring in Lamar, this is just lining up perfectly for you to bring him in once he gets back after that bye. I mean, it's just gonna. I think it's ideal. Yeah, you get him a little bit at a discount, and you miss a lot of that other stuff as well. It will be massive. Moving on to the next game, and what a game this was. I know a lot of people had this player on the bench. I know I was one of them. Chicago Bears walking away with a 1-point win against the Raiders at Las Vegas. And I've got to start from the top. This was the Ashton Genty coming out party. 3 total touchdowns, 21 carries for 138 yards and a score. And then through the air, 2 for 17 and also 2 touchdowns. He put up a whopping 64 Supercoach points, and he's going to make so much money. Minus 33 break even, like you put here, Secko. He's going to make that much cash. 63% owned. I'd hate to know what that number was before this week. I'd hate to know the amount of people that traded him out that couldn't hold on, because they would just be, they'd be absolutely kicking themselves. I know for me, I traded in for him in a couple of fantasy leagues. Thanks, Deadly, if you're watching this. I got him from you and one. Sorry to do that to you. But besides Genty just absolutely carrying this game, not for the win, but he did his best. Geno Smith, he really stopped Raiders from winning. Genty did everything he can, and Geno Smith just pushed back on it. 117 yards to the air, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Yeah, I believe he's leading the league in interceptions, Geno Smith. Yeah, he'd have to be at this point. I don't even think I need to fact check that. That's just, he's had that many intercepts lately. Didn't give you anything. 4 for 31 on the ground, but 25 Supercoach points. But a bit of a letdown. Brock Bowers only giving you 14, 5 for 46 on 6 targets. And Jacoby Myers, 4 for 30 on 7 targets. If you did bring in Trey Tucker this week, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. That's a lesson learned to try not to be infatuated by chasing last week's points, because this can very well happen. I mean, Trey Tucker, he just 2 for 13. Didn't do absolutely anything in this game. But on the Bears side of the ball, they walk away with this win in the death. Caleb Williams, 212 yards passing, a touchdown and an int. Gave you 13 yards on the ground. DeAndre Swift, 14 for 38. Still super inefficient rushing, but he gets away with it with a score. And he also gave you 4 catches for 22 yards in the air. Coleman Ongai, again, he's not his RB2 clearly. He looks like the better runner. But I think Ben Johnson is just giving his rookies a little bit more time to get in line. Through the air for the Bears, Rambadunze, 4 for 69 and a score on 8 targets. Just looks like he's still the clear wide receiver 1 option for the Bears, and that's not really going to go away anytime soon. Cole Kmet, 3 for 46 on 9 targets. Olamide Zacchaeus, 5 for 41 on 6 targets, and DJ Moore, 4 for 38, which didn't really do anything for you. And in terms of Supercoach scoring, Cairo Santos, the kicker for the Bears, put up the most with 38. Rambadunze, 29. His break even is still super low and owned by 37%. And then, Caleb Williams put up 24 as well. But this game here, Secko, I thought there was going to be more points. Believe it or not, I know 49, that's still a big total. I thought there was going to be more. But, Geno just really struggled in this one. And the Bears, they still had so many injuries in that secondary. They definitely left a lot of points out there. But how did you feel about this one? And, I mean, Ashton Genty, all aboard. Here he is. He could definitely be a keeper in weeks to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's good. You said it off the top. He's going to make so much money. I've done sort of some quick sums, and I'm just trying to figure out. So that's week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7. So going into week 7, he only has to score 25s to be at $15 million, which is what Derrick Henry will be out of his buy. Like, so you could go. I mean, you might want to keep Genty over Derrick Henry the way he's been playing, but that's just an example of how at the start of the year, the difference in price was over $15 million. And you can go sideways to them. And that's how Supercoach works. That you can fatten guys and sideways trade them, and obviously use that money there. Actually 2.4%. So 756 people traded Genty out this week. To answer your question there. So you sort of can't get him back now. You sort of got to just live with that. And Gino does have the most interceptions in the league, 1 more than Flacco and 2 more than Jake Brown. He's only played 2 games and has 5. But yeah, from a Supercoach lens, you touched on everything. Bowers is my biggest one. I've said it for probably 3 weeks, much to everyone's what's the word for it? Hatred, disregard of me sort of warning, get rid of him. He's injured. Yes, he's also got Gino Smith, who doesn't want to throw the ball to him. And now Genty's come out. I get rid of him. People disagree with me, but he's hemorrhaging cash. I don't think he's a top 2 tight end, to be honest. Anyway. But yeah, he scored 14 again. Like, what's he scored this year? He's one of the highest owned. I think, what is he, 47%?
47%, yeah.
I think, from memory. Yeah, he scored 25 the first week, then 12, then 15, now 12 again, or 14. It's fine. But you could use his money and go to Juwan Johnson. You could have done that 2 weeks ago and made 9 mil, right? 8 mil, whatever it was. It just sucks when you got primo players that just are not scoring any points and are just hemorrhaging cash. So yeah, I mean, it's probably too late to get rid of him now, but I expect that number to drop from 47% a little bit. And Adunze is the only big call out for me. He's the clear number 1 for them. He's so good. If you watch him, he's even better than he scores. 29's massive unders for me. I watched a fair bit of this game. I've got him in a few spots, and I feel like he sort of plays better than even that score sort of says. So, yeah. If you got onto him a couple of weeks ago, good on you. I think he's pretty highly owned now. What is he, 37%? A lot will ride him for a while because his cash, he'll still be in the sort of, I think he's still minus, break even just quietly. He'll probably still be minus next week. So yeah, keep on Rome, and hopefully you avoided the trade chucker trap.
A trap indeed. And for the last game that occurred today, and again, this was just super surprising. Green Bay Packers going to Cowboys. Micah Parsons returning to Dallas. I thought this was going to be an absolute bloodbath with the amount of injuries on the side of on Dallas's side of the ball, but they finished up in a draw. They went into overtime, 40-40. So many points in this game, which again just paid us the goods in terms of Supercoach and also fantasy production. Starting off with the Packers, Jordan Love and Secko absolutely nailed your start of the week in last Thursday's show. We'll have to run back and see how we can go moving forward for week 5. But Jordan Love, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns. And yeah, look, from early on, they wanted to give him the ball and get him that work. You know, kind of he's been a bit lackluster the last couple of weeks, and I think they wanted to make it a mission and to prove a point just how good he is and how good he can be. But with that being said, Josh Jacobs, he definitely got a lot of work as well. 22 carries for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 4 for 71 in the air as well. So he put up a whopping 59 points. If you had him in your team, well done. You'd be absolutely licking your lips. Jordan Love put up 51 in Supercoach, but Romeo Dobbs, six catches for 58 yards and 3 scores. I know I spot started him in a couple of not real traditional fantasy leagues, and I was heavy underdogs, and yeah, he now going to absolutely smash in that week. So yeah, unlucky to the player I was versing in that one, but Matthew Golden, 5 for 58. This is his best game so far. And I thought that he nearly didn't have, there was a big 46-yard grab and him and Wicks kind of intercepted. He was just the guy that got his hands up first. So it could have been a very poor day for Golden. But if you did bring him in, his break even is at -7. And he'll make just 650K so far. But yeah, I believe they go into a bye week 5. So it won't make you any money next week. But after that, I believe they have a pretty soft schedule. I think Cincinnati is a part of that in the next 3 games as well. But on the Dallas side of the ball, Dak Prescott put up some big numbers as well, similar to Jordan Love, 319 yards to the air, 3 touchdowns. He also gave you a rushing score as well, turning back the clock a little bit for when Dak Prescott was in his younger years and was running the ball a bit more. He put up 61 points, so he was the top scorer this whole game. George Pickens had an absolute monster game as well, 8 for 134 and 2 scores, giving you 58 Supercoach points and on 11 targets, which is just, absolutely love to see it. Jalen Tolbert, 4 for 61. Jake Ferg, your start of the week, Secko, 7 for 40 and 1 touchdown. You'd be stoked with Jake Ferg bringing up 27 points. And he will probably make you money as well moving forward. And Javonte Williams, again, he honestly looks pretty good. I thought there was going to be some regression with this Dallas Cowboys side with their right guard, I believe, going on IR, and their center's out their starting center is out as well. So, but still 20 for 85 on the ground and a score. He also gave you 3 catches through the air as well, so which accounted to 35 Supercoach points. So Javonte's doing it all, traditional fantasy and Supercoach. This one was a fun one. It would have been great to see an actual winner and not a lame ass draw. But what were your takeaways here for the final game of the Monday slate, Secko?
Yeah, it's a bit of a Supercoach and fantasy bonanza. Obviously, Dak with that old QB draw touchdown play that he used to do quite a bit 5 years ago. He's finally able to move in the pocket again. Pickens is filled in for Lamb perfectly. So if you did pivot to him as a fan of the Cowboys, you might have done that. He's great. He's great for obviously all formats. Javonte's same with you. I'm the same with you. He's a bit like Quentin Johnston. I thought he'd just drop right off sometime in the first 4 weeks, but he's going strength to strength. Ferguson had less impact than he's had. They got more ball to sort of Tolbert and Turpin and Flournoy and some random dudes, but he's still got the score. So still scored really well for fantasy. Other side, Jacobs is just a freak. He's unbelievable. He scored twice. Dobbins scored 3 times. Love was amazing, which we predicted. Golden, you touched on. He'll have a minus break even, which is great. If you did hold him, you've got to hold him to the buy now, but that's okay. He'll make some money. He's finally looking like he's getting more and more accustomed to the team setup and positioning. And Kraft was real stiff. If you had him, the 16 in Supercoach looks horrible. He was brought down on the 1-yard line on 2 separate occasions. So he could have easily had a 40-point game just by literally going 2 inches on one occasion and about 4 on the other. He'll be fine. Love is looking like he's in form. So take that for what it is. Take the positives out of that. If you've got Kraft, feel free that this is absolutely his flaw in my opinion. I'm a big Kraft guy, but he still looks great when he's on the field. So back him in.
Yeah, he does. And it's good to see Dallas without CD being able to put up 40 points. I definitely wouldn't have picked it. So yeah, good signs of life for him or for them, because there's so many Supercoach and fantasy relevant players for the Cowboys, and fingers crossed CD is back in a couple of weeks' time. But that'll do us for our Week 4 review so far. We will cover the last 2 games on tomorrow night's waiver show when we get into that. So we will get into some questions. And of course, I do have to throw this up. If you are watching on YouTube and following along, hit that big blue thumbs up button, hit that red bell, subscribe, and stay tuned. We're going to be dropping these shows 5 times a week. We'll be releasing content out into the YouTube and also X Sphere as well out there. So make sure you're staying tuned with that. We absolutely love it. And if you do want to follow us on socials, all of our handles are in the description below. Again, we post a heap of stuff over on X and Insta throughout the week that the games are playing, and also sometimes we have a couple of giveaways as well. So make sure you're in line there to get involved. Now for the questions, thanks everybody for sticking around. You know, let's hit our question time drop and get straight into it.
It's question time. Let's answer your questions for the week ahead.
Awesome. So from the top, we'll go through each comment, then we'll get into the questions as well. Deadly, I did pull this one up. Malik, sad face. It's terrible. Absolutely things you hate to see. Flanders, dinner time and insight. It's a great night. And Flanders, it is a great night because you're a second comment here. I was lucky that Lamar went off because, you would have beat me in the Insight Creators League if he didn't go off. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Hope your dinner was good. IJ threw one in here. And I'll throw this one to you, Secko. Thanks for the comment, by the way, IJ. So my captains seem to be alternating between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Each time I put the C on the wrong player. How do I rectify this? It's a tough one. This is just really the game, right? Like it's a lottery. We can't really predict week in and week out. But before Secko, a good thing that you can stay in tune with before the weeks ahead. Our captain's huddle drops every Thursday morning at about 6:30, and we go through the best vice captain options, the best straight captain options, and also with the VC looping, we give you a couple of looping options as well to kick off your week. But with that, Secko, any real, I guess, other advice you could give IJ when it comes to selecting your captains?
No, I was going to hit on the captain's huddle because we do stray from the conventional Allen and Lamar. Just give you some options there. If you look at this week, obviously, you know, it's easy to say in hindsight, but there was plenty of players that scored around the Josh Allen amount. It's very much a consensus to just play your quarterbacks, no questions asked. It's silly not to. I've heard quite a few people say that it'd be a dumb move to pick someone like a CMC or a Puka or a JT, and why would you do it? There's no reason to do it. JT outscored Josh Allen 2 of the first 3 weeks. Like that's the reason why you can do it. So obviously, if Lamar's out, you can get rid of him, and you're probably going to get in another quarterback. To rectify it, don't just be stuck in the 2-player routine. That would be my suggestion. Look elsewhere. This week, players that beat Josh Allen. So Josh Allen had a great score. He had 51. He was beaten by Genty, Nakua, Josh Jacobs, George Pickens, Bijan Robinson. All beat him. So there is options out there that aren't just your quarterbacks. But I understand your problem, IJ. Maybe Lamar getting the ass might be something that breaks it.
Yeah, and with that captain's huddle, I have to give ourselves a pat on the back. We did give Puka Nakua as an option as well, and yeah, he put up 59. I wish I listened to us. I was stuck with CMC, but hey, he put up 45, which is, we're happy with that. But definitely tune in to the captain's huddle every Thursday morning at 6:30. Drops over on our YouTube. Deadly threw in a couple of comments here. CTE Merchant won me some league. Shout out Scat man. We got to keep giving it to him. And he followed up with Russ loved Wandale. I wonder who Jax is going to love. It looked like Darius Slayton. Honestly, that was my kind of takeaway. It looked like he was kind of comfortable throwing to Slayton, and Slayton can add some deep balls as well. But who's your kind of target that you think Dart's going to favour towards now that NABERS is gone, Secko?
So I'm pretty sure all of Slayton's targets, I think I said it earlier, but all his targets came from Dart. I think Theo Johnson, I think he looked good. He also got all of his targets from when Dart came on. He got a touchdown. As I said, he moved quite well. He's actually a pretty good mover. So I think Dart could, a little sneaky tight end play for your traditional fantasy. Theo Johnson could be a guy later. I will just pump us up again. You were saying captain's huddle pump ups. We also said Josh Jacobs as a straight C. He also scored 59. We were on fire looking outside of the quarterbacks only. So IJ, if you're still listening, mate, hit us up on the Thursday night or the Friday captain's huddle show, and you'll get some good ideas there.
Love it. Insight Fantasy, my dynasty dreams and tatters, NABERS. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal out there. But in more positive signs, Deadly again, Marion Hampton rushes to the right side to the moon. He looks so good. I mean, he just looks so quick when he's out in space. Good luck, and he's a big beast of a man as well. Shaquille Oatmeal, love the name. Malik, it's very sad. IJ, is Lamar a trade out? Secko, I believe you did touch on this. You would be looking to trade out Lamar. I guess are you waiting to see what the outcome is first, or?
Yeah, if he misses, I would trade him because if he misses one, there's every chance he misses two, and then he misses three because of the bye. So we've said it all along. Any more than a 1 week absence is probably a trade out in this format, especially when Lamar's at his 30 mil price. You can get some pretty good stuff for him. So I would say yes, but watch the practice reports and then ultimately the designation going into next weekend.
Love it. And our guy Shaquille Oatmeal giving Debo some love. He's a thicky man. He's thick and fast. He is. We definitely were bamboozled by the preseason, clips of him looking like a big boy and looking slow out there. He's just proven us wrong. Shaquille Oatmeal followed up. Njoku was a joke. Can finally drop him. Yeah, I think so too. Even in traditional fantasy, I'm starting to lean towards that way. He'll probably get traded. I'm kind of hoping out for. They've got Fannin there. They're not really going to go anywhere. I think, the trade deadline is on the 4th of November, I believe. So, it could, within the next 3 or 4 weeks, we should definitely start to see some trades happening in the NFL. Jack M, I'll throw this to you. Secko, is Hampton a must trade in?
Yep.
Is it too late?
He should never have been traded out. No, I completely understand why he was traded out at the time. Najee was there, and look, to be honest, Najee was eating into his work. So, if Najee never did his Achilles, I don't think Hampton would probably be a trade out for almost everyone. So, understand why it was done. So I'm just trying to find my data on him. He's going to be $9.5 million after this week. So I'd probably say no. You probably can't trade into him. Having said that, with his role being so locked in a team that wants to run the ball as well now, it seems, or they're happy to run the ball as well as use him in the passing game. If he averages 25 from here on out, he still makes another, what's that, 6 mil over the next 4 weeks. So you can still get him in for points and money. Not a must trade by any means, but definitely still an option. Just unfortunate that he's 5 mil more than when you probably traded him out.
And Jack M followed up here. How the hell do I nail the K and DST spot? Put Carolina on the field today after they shut out the Hawks last week, then couldn't stop the patch. Yeah, it's a cruel game. It's just that's the thing. It's really hard to nail the kickers and defense. But I know for defense, you really have to kind of target the matchups. And if you've got two there, try and lean towards the one that has a more favorable matchup. That can get after the quarterback and hopefully cause some turnovers. But it's just it's a cruel game. We can't predict it. I mean, I had the Cardinals starting, they put up 10, and I had the Pats on the bench and they put up 42. You just can't pick it. It's a very cruel game. And he also followed up Jack M. Is Nico Collins a trade, Secko?
I mean, you can. He's going to lose money as well. It depends on if you got other trades. If you haven't got many other trades, there's every chance I'm going to trade him as well this week, depending on what's there. And he's probably at the price point now where, without knowing what that is, he's going to start to lose money and not be a viable sort of trade out option soon if he loses too much more. He's only going to lose, so he's going to be 16-3. If you can get up to a user, if you didn't get Puka last week, it's probably going to be a big jump up to him. But if you can get someone who's performing around that price, 100% he can be traded out. He's not a must trade out by any means, though, for me.
Yeah, same here. I've got him on my team. They've got Ravens, Seahawks, 49ers. I mean, Ravens defense is pretty gas. I'm not too worried about them, but Seahawks is a bit tough. And 49ers is kind of favorable. So I'm holding on for Nico. I think there's bigger concerns that are out there. But again, depends on your team. J. Walt V, freedom for Cam Ward. Yeah, I mean, did you see in his press conference today, Secko? I think he just said, he's like, oh, straight up, we suck. He's like, we're ass. Or something like that. Not what you want to see from a rookie quarterback who's trying to lead his team. He's probably going to get clipped in the back of the head for that one by Brian Callahan, his head coach. But Callahan's probably at the door, like you touched on, Secko. He's probably very not long left to go for his head coaching career at Tennessee. Flanders, who was the best trade-in option for NABERS? Puka. You could probably get to Puka pretty easily from NABERS. Maybe I think it might cost you an extra $3 million. or something like that at this stage.
Amonra and Puka. We'll talk about it more Wednesday when we've dug into it a bit more. They're probably the two primo options. And then there's guys you can go down to, depending on what Garrett Wilson does tomorrow. Jackson Smith still there. There's a few cheaper there, but we'll touch on it Wednesday because we'll know exactly what the break evens look like and who scored from the Monday night football games.
And on that, IJ's thrown in who's the best trade-in options for the week. Again, tune in Wednesday. We're going to have a massive trade show again. It's always the beast of a show, but we'll cover everything in each position, your trade-ins and trade-outs. Shaquille Oatmeal, if I started Quinton Johnson over Chase, I would have solidified the W. I wanted to, but I couldn't forgive myself if he put 50 and lost. I'd be the same. Just looking at Quinton Johnson and Jamar Chase, there is just absolutely no way. Even though Quinton's been so consistent the first 4 weeks, it's just the shoe has to drop at some point. And maybe it doesn't this whole year. Maybe he's a top 12 wide receiver when it's all said and done. But yeah, it's just gross to even look at. It is very gross.
Jamar hasn't even played yet. He could easily score 39 points. So let's I mean, it's easy. There's some early victory laps that happen in Supercoach. It's never over until it's over. So yeah, just watch Chase tomorrow and hope he gets on the end of a couple.
I'm hoping he puts up 26 for my Supercoach Cup matchup. The opponent put up a whopping 561, which is just that's hectic. Oh. So yeah, hopefully Chase can put up 26. Deadly took Bucky over 64.5 and he got 63. That's rough. That's a tough beat. Very tough beat. Jack M, bench Bowers for Warren to save a trade. You can't bench. Yeah, you'd bench Bowers.
I'll do it.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends what your other
I'm the
anti-Bowers
guy though. Like, no one should probably listen to me about Bowers because I love the guy. I'm a Georgia Bulldogs college fan. I loved him out of college. I loved him last year. This year he's a different guy. I've watched the film on him. He's not moving like he was last year. Gino's not good enough to get the ball. I mean, he's good enough. He's not choosing to get the ball to him the same sort of ways, and the play calling's not really working in his favour. So you probably can't bench him. But if you've got Bowers, McBride, and Warren, I'd start Warren over both of them at the moment. He's scoring the best, and he just is the best tight end for fantasy at the moment. So that's the hard part is you feel like an idiot for benching the higher touted guys, right? So it's tough, but I would trade one of them and start Warren rather than having to worry about benching the good player.
Yeah, and having all that cash just sitting on your bench. Yeah, for sure. He is. Again, from Jack M, if McCarthy is back, can I just keep Lamar? It doesn't look like he's back for week 5. I think they've already ruled it out as well. So you probably can't if you've got that there. Yeah. And then into a bye. Oh, yeah, the Vikings into a bye. Yeah, so
2 more weeks away at least.
Yeah, so monitor the situation with Lamar. If he misses time, you're going to have to move him on. And then but you can just bring him back in at week 8. That's going to be a good option. Our main man, Punter, it's always good seeing your messages here, mate. My Supercoach RBs, Bajan Robinson, James Cook, Jordan Mason, Omarion Hampton. Bench, Javonte Williams, Genty. Bloody hard to know who to field. Yeah, that was tough. I know I benched Genty this week. Did you bench Genty as well, Secko?
Yeah,
you did as well. I mean, yeah, like there's so many people benching Genty. You can't predict a 3-touchdown game, but still you love to see it, and at least he's going to make you a boatload of cash on there as well. IJ, where can I send you my team on?
I'll tell Punter. I'll tell Punter next week who to bench. He can bench Jordan Mason because they're playing against Cleveland.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. That's an easy bench up against that tough. But IJ, where can I send my team on socials to get your thoughts? IJ, we've got a link to our Patreon in the description below. We do have a paid version of the Patreon. You join up in the welcome email, you'll get a link to our WhatsApp group. Once you join our WhatsApp community, we've got a heap of Supercoach things. Secco's super active in it. We've got a really good community growing over there. And if you throw your team in that chat, you're going to get so many suggestions and thoughts as well. And it's a really good community. It's building as well. It's going to keep building. It's going to be awesome to see what it looks like at the end of the year. So yeah, that's going to be the best thing. Join our Patreon. There is a paid version and also free. But if you do join, you will get that welcome email into our WhatsApp group and you can go from there. Jack M, how many trades do you have left in Supercoach? I know me, I've been a bit trade happy.
21 and 3 boosts.
Secco's got 21. I've got 19 and 3 boosts. I definitely could have saved a trade last week, but I just wanted to get JT in I just couldn't wait. He's just too much of a stud. Kane Davies, gotta love getting defense call on a 40-point swing. Getting def call on a 40-point swing. What do you make of that, Secko? I'm not too sure.
Nah, I'm gonna love getting def call. Nah, I don't know. If Kane's still around, maybe you can clarify that. We might have to go. What happened? Coach Edge.
Yeah.
Hit on the.
Yeah, I'll throw up Jacket. Yeah, Jack Ebb's another one here. First year playing, so cheers for the analyst lads. Anytime, Jack. Thanks for joining in and tuning into the stream. We'll be here all season long and dropping at least 5 shows a week across YouTube, with 4 of them being live and our Captain's Huddle. That's a pre-recorded one that drops Thursday morning. And our last question of tonight, Supercoach Edge, Soz Gents late here. What the hell happened to Neighbours? ACL. So if you've got to be in your team,
we don't know yet.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Not confirmed, but it non-contact. It's
ACL.
Not 95% ACL, which you absolutely hate to see. But that will wrap up the questions for tonight. An absolute beast of a show, an hour and 40 minutes. Hit the big 100-minute mark, but there was just so much to cover in these first shows back for the week. And yeah, it's good to kind of decompress and review and really see, digest everything that really happened in the week and what we think for Supercoach and fantasy implications moving forward. But before we sign things out, tomorrow night, guys, we will have our traditional fantasy show. We'll be going through the waiver wire, our top targets, especially to battle with all the injuries that took place this week. And we'll recap the final games of week 4 that are taking place tomorrow in Miami versus the Jets and Cincinnati versus the Broncos. But that'll do us here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in for this absolute beast of a show. Secko, mate, a pleasure as always. We'll be back tomorrow night to do it all over again.
Will do.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
See ya.